I love steak in the summer. I love roasted steak or grilled steak or however you want to do it. I just love really simple preparations of beef in the summer. This is a funny little cut, which is a ribeye. Well, everybody thinks that doesn't look like a ribeye, and it doesn't. Because if a ribeye is this long piece, this is in the center. So it's kind of like mimicking a tenderloin out of a ribeye. Why do I do that? Why don't we just use the tenderloin? Because I think ribeyes have so much more flavor than tenderloins. The way we're gonna cook the ribeye is we're just gonna be searing them in a pan and roasting them in a 400-degree oven. We're gonna do some fresh porcini. So we're gonna saute those in a little olive oil and a little butter and then hit them up with a little chilied infused vinegar at the very end. This is lacinato kale. This is my favorite green. We're gonna hit them with high heat on the stove, season a little bit, add a little bit of chicken stock and a little bit of olive oil to finish, and that's it. That's what we're doing. That's our little base. On the plate will be a base of this, quickly cooked down, and then sliced steak, and then the porcini on top. No sauce, no nothing. It's summer. We don't need the embellishments of a lot of sauces. We're gonna season these really well with just some kosher salt, pretty much everywhere. And then we're going to add some black pepper. Black pepper I really like always ground. You know that jar of ground black pepper you have in your spice cabinet? You should probably just throw that away. So we're gonna take these, gonna cook them with a little bit of butter and olive oil in the pan, probably about 3 minutes aside, and then we're gonna put them in a 400-degree oven for another 3 to 4 minutes. And then we're gonna rest them for 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. If this is a piece of meat that's really beautifully moist everywhere, as soon as it hits the heat, all of the moisture everywhere in it wants to run to the center. So as soon as you cook it and you pull it off and you slice it directly down the middle, right out of the pan, all of that moisture is still in the center and hasn't had enough time to relax back out into the rest of the meat. Therefore, you cut into it and all of that liquid goes onto your cutting board. You don't always need to cook on the highest temperatures. You want to kind of relax and let meats and vegetables and things like that appreciate the heat that they're at, as opposed to subjecting them to the brutality of really, really high heat. I've got some unsalted butter, which I'm just gonna stick a little, it's probably about half a tablespoon in, and mix it with my oil. And that's what we're gonna be cooking our steaks in. The pan's pretty much hot. The butter's just frothing. And we're gonna stick those in there. And we're just gonna leave it be for the time being. We're just gonna let it go. Okay, I'm gonna cut my porcini, and I just wanna slice it down into thin slices. I don't wanna cut it too small, leave it too big, because I definitely wanna cook it, but I want people to still see that, hey, wow, he bought beautiful porcini, big real ones. You just rarely find beautiful mushrooms like this in the market. We're gonna put these back in the bowl, and then we're gonna saute these in a pan in a moment and deglaze them with just a little bit of vinegar and chicken stock and finish them with a little bit of butter. And that's gonna be our sort of nice stocky, mushroomy saute that's gonna finish the steaks right over the top of it. So this is why we don't need a sauce in this. You see the beauty I've created on these is I've created that nice char. When you're talking about a steakhouse, they have like a broiler that cooks at like 800 degrees. But this is what we've got, is we've got this beautiful cast iron char at this point. And we're just gonna let these go. Because I like a little richness on my steak, I'm gonna put a little bit of butter on top, and that's gonna self-baste them as they're in my 400-degree oven. We're gonna take like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then that internal temperature is gonna be maybe 120, 122, 123, and that's the point to take them out. We're gonna get the heat going. I've got a little bit of olive oil. We wanna bring that up to temperature and let it heat up a little bit more. I'm gonna put a little bit of butter in. I wanna let it froth a little bit, but I don't wanna burn this. So right before I start to see color, I'm gonna add my porcini. What I don't wanna do in this is crowd the pan too much. If you crowded all of those in there at once, what you're gonna do is you're gonna more steam the mushrooms than cook them evenly. Because I want them to develop a little bit of color and a little bit of flavor. These are gonna cook relatively quickly. You start to see color generating on them. They just start to soften up so much from their firm entity that we put into the pan. Look at that beautiful coloring there. Look at that. I want to let them cook down just a little bit more. I've got some stock. done. And then I'm just gonna put a little bit of vinegar on, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of butter in. Just enough. We haven't really seasoned yet. Take that. And I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper. You see that sort of nice buttery brothiness? That's definitely what we're looking for. A little more salt. Pretty much we're there. So let's get that off the heat. If this dries out too much, we can always add a little bit of stock. But at this point in time, we can just leave this in behind and just let it calm down there. Okay, let's check on our steaks again. Look, instant read thermometer. I'm at about 122 right now. So I'm just gonna pull them out. When I say I want your steaks to rest, I don't want them to rest in the pan that's hotter than the steaks are right now. So we want to get them to a neutral ground territory. Let's say a plate that's from the cupboard. And those beautiful steaks are just gonna rest. Dino kale. I really do love this stuff. These are gonna sizzle nicely down right when they hit the pan. There we go. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And we're just gonna stir those around a fair bit. It's kind of like cooking in a wok. Okay, we're gonna add just a touch of chicken stock. There we go. And given that this is a beautiful green, I'm gonna add a little bit of vinegar to it just because I really like that cut in the finish. And that's that chili vinegar again. That's pretty much what we're looking for. I'm not looking for a full wilt. So let's get ready for plating. When you're looking at a steak has a grain. This grain's going this way. I want to go against the grain. So pretty much want to turn it over and just cut. I'm going to cut like 3 or 4 slices out of it. So that I would say is a nice mid-rare. But it's nicely rested. Take a little bit of our dino kale or lacinato kale. Just put a little base of it down. Let's put 3 slices of this down. That would be more than enough for me. This is the way I want to put the porcini on, and just getting a little bit of that beautiful juice and just draping some of that over. You can finish with a little flourish of herbs. I'm just going to season a little bit right on the meat where we've cut it, just to bring out everything. And then we're going to just drizzle a little bit of olive oil. And that's really about it. We've learned how to cook the meat like that, how to get a really nice, beautiful crust on it, how to cook the porcinis, which is so simple, but they're ethereal. How to cook a lacinato kale in a really fast method. And then using sauceless cuisine, which is using the sauce generated from the porcini to be the sauce for the whole dish. The porcini on top of salmon would be awesome. Another great, beautiful thing for summer. Cook away, have fun, good eating.